Hello, everyone. Welcome to a story that might change how you think about effort and intelligence. Have you ever been called lazy or felt like you just don't have the energy to keep up with everyone else? Well, today's story is about a boy who was exactly that, lazy. But by the end, you'll see that laziness isn't always what it seems. Sometimes the person who avoids hard work is simply waiting for the right problem to solve. Stick around until the end because, along with this story, we'll pick up some useful English words and phrases that you can start using today. In a quiet village nestled between green hills and flowing rivers, there lived a boy named Kai. Kai was known throughout the village for one thing: his incredible laziness. While other kids his age ran errands, fetched water, or helped in the fields, Kai could usually be found lying under the big banyan tree daydreaming. His parents owned a small vegetable patch, and Kai's only job was to scare away the monkeys and birds that came to steal the ripe produce. Most people would run around shouting and waving sticks, but Kai found this exhausting. Instead, he tied old clothes and shiny metal pieces to long bamboo poles around the garden. When the wind blew, the noise and sparkle fooled the animals into thinking people were there. Kai could simply lie back and watch the clouds, his work done for him. His father often sighed, wondering what would become of a boy who avoided effort at every turn. But because Kai's clever tricks always worked, no one could really complain. One year, the rains did not come. The sun blazed down day after day, and the soil in their vegetable patch began to crack. Kai's father, already weak from a lingering fever, tried his best to carry water from the distant well, but the heat was too much. One afternoon, he collapsed near the dry plants. The village healer said he needed complete rest. Now, the entire responsibility of keeping their small farm alive fell on Kai's shoulders. For the first time in his life, Kai had to work, really work. He carried small pots of water, but his arms ached. He tried to dig channels to bring water closer, but his back screamed in protest. After a week, most of the vegetables had withered. That evening, Kai sat on the dry earth, watching the sunset. He felt a deep pang of failure. His family's livelihood was dying, and his laziness had left him with no strength to save it. He thought, what good is a clever idea when you have no strength to use it? The next morning, the village was buzzing with excitement. A royal messenger on a decorated horse announced a grand challenge at the capital city. The king, who loved puzzles and contests, was offering a huge bag of gold coins to whoever could complete 3 tasks faster than anyone else. Kai saw a glimmer of hope. If he could win that gold, his family could buy water, buy food, and survive the drought. Without a second thought, he told the messenger he would compete. The villagers laughed. They pointed at Kai, the laziest boy in the village, and mocked his decision. "You can't even water your own garden," they jeered. But Kai simply packed a small bag of dried fruit and started walking toward the capital. His parents watched him go, worried but secretly hoping this journey would teach him something valuable. After 3 days of travel, Kai arrived at the palace grounds. He joined hundreds of other contestants, many of them muscular and confident. They stretched their arms and showed off their strength, making Kai feel small and weak. The first task was announced. Everyone had to cross a wide, fast-flowing river. The first 50 to reach the other side would move to the next round. As soon as the horn sounded, the strong contestants dived into the water, fighting the current with powerful strokes. Kai dipped his toe in. The water was freezing and the current was terrifying. He knew he would never make it by swimming. But then he looked around. The starting point was a small fishing dock with old boats tied up. The rules didn't say you had to swim, they said you had to cross. While everyone else was in the water, Kai walked over to an old fisherman and offered to help him untangle his nets in exchange for a ride. The fisherman agreed, and Kai sat comfortably in the boat as it glided across the river. He wasn't the fastest, but he wasn't the slowest either. He finished right in the middle, easily qualifying for the next round while many strong swimmers were still gasping for air halfway across. The second task was held in a large, empty field. Each contestant was given a heavy, solid block of wood and a simple iron lever. The task was to move the block across the finish line 100 meters away. Most contestants immediately began using the lever to pry and push their blocks, inch by inch. It was back-breaking work. Kai looked at his block. It was too heavy to lift and too awkward to roll. He sat down next to it, thinking. The judges noticed him sitting and almost disqualified him for not trying, but Kai wasn't giving up, he was planning. He noticed that the field wasn't completely flat. There was a slight slope leading down towards the finish line. He also noticed that his block, while heavy, was roughly cut and had uneven edges. Instead of using the lever to push it, Kai used the lever to dig a small trench under one side of the block. Then he found some small round stones nearby and rolled them under the block. By carefully lifting and placing stones, he turned his heavy block into something that could slide and roll. Then with one big push, he sent it sliding down the slope. It gathered speed and rolled right past the finish line while other contestants were still sweating and struggling with theirs. The crowd gasped. Kai had finished first. The final challenge was the strangest of all. The 3 remaining contestants were brought to a room with a high ceiling. In the center of the room was a single pole, stretching up to a skylight at the top. The first contestant to climb the pole, open the skylight, and retrieve a flag from the roof would be the winner. The first contestant, a tall, athletic man, wrapped his arms around the pole and tried to shimmy up, but the pole was too smooth and too wide. He slipped back down. The second contestant tried jumping and grabbing, but he couldn't get a grip. Kai looked at the pole. He knew he couldn't climb it with strength alone, but then he remembered something from his lazy days in the village. He used to watch spiders climb walls and trees. They didn't fight the surface. They found tiny cracks and used silk to hold on. Kai didn't have silk, but he had an idea. He took off his shirt and wrapped it around the pole, using it for friction. Then he took the small knife he always carried and carefully carved small notches into the wood as he went. It was slow, patient work. One notch at a time, using his shirt for grip, he climbed. The other contestants watched in amazement as Kai, the lazy boy, inched his way upward. Finally, he reached the skylight, pushed it open, and grabbed the flag. The crowd below erupted in cheers. Kai returned to his village not just with a chest of gold, but with a new understanding of himself. He wasn't lazy. He was simply someone who needed a powerful reason to act. His love for his family was that reason. This story teaches us that hard work isn't just about muscles and sweat. It's about finding the smartest path to your goal. If you ever feel like giving up or taking the easy way out, ask yourself, what am I working for? Find your reason and you'll find your strength. Today, we learned that being smart can be just as powerful as being strong. Keep listening to stories like this, and you'll keep growing your English one word at a time. If you enjoyed this journey with Kai, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It helps us bring you more stories that teach and inspire. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next story.